Hello. So in this video, what we are trying to do is we are trying to find out how do we know that our machine supports virtualization or not. So I would be just typing some cues in this particular video to make you understand, just give you some information regarding, what we are trying to do or what we are intending to do. So uh, we need to understand, the virtualization concept with respect to the hardware as well as the software. So there are two different tools, at least on Windows machines, that can actually be used to check virtualization. And we will just go over those tools, try to identify those tools, and understand which are those tools. So let's switch to the browser and see. So you can see that this particular website in the codeplex called as slat status check .codeplex.com. So this is where there is one tool which is available, and we need to actually download this particular tool in order to go and check. So it's just a simple download exercise. So you just need to click on download, and there is source and there is an exe. So we need to select the exe, and we need to download only the exe because this is only that we are using to check whether our machine has virtualization feature or not. So as you can see, the zip has downloaded. Let us just extract it to a folder here. Once we have extracted, what we just need to do is we just need to run this particular exe, and we need to run it in the administrator mode. So that is important. On clicking the button, click to check, you can see that it shows that you have SLAT capable machine, SLAT capable machine. So SLAT means secondary level address translation capable machine. So this is how actually you can do this check, and you also get a link with respect to additional details of some of the contents which are available regarding this particular tool, and actually what it does, what is the function that it does to actually check whether your machine is capable of doing a hardware level virtualization. So as I have told you, SLAT means the secondary level address translation. So this requires actually a hardware support. I mean, it is not only a software that can support the virtualization, but your hardware should be of capability that it should support the virtualization. So now we are done with it, and we will look at the second tool that I was talking to you. The second tool comes from Microsoft TechNet, which is Windows Sys internals. You may heard of Mark Rosanovich, who has developed many such tools. Mark Rosanovich is the person who actually used to reverse engineer a lot of Windows, operating system features. So he has actually come up with a tool called as Core Info. The current version is 3.31, and this actually is the second tool that we can actually use to check. So what you can do is you can just search for this particular Core Info in any of your favorite search engines, and this will actually bring it to you to this particular page. You did not even remember this particular link altogether, and go ahead and get started with downloading. So you can see that it's a pretty small tool that we have here, Core Info. It's just 192 KB, and once we download it, we will understand how this particular tool runs. It's a little different than that of SLAT, the earlier tool that we have seen. So we will just try to extract this in another folder, just like how we did for the first tool. And here you can see there is an exe, but this particular exe is not something a Windows application, but it's a command line kind of utility. I mean, you have to go to a command prompt and only then run this particular utility. It's something like a command line, some kind of a command, just like how you use dir to list the directories. So this is some kind of that kind of a tool. Again, one thing that you have to remember, this is that you need to have an admin rights in order to run this particular tool or this particular exe file. So let's just go ahead and open a command prompt on Windows. My machine is running Windows 10, so for me, if I have to open a command prompt, I can just type in the search bar and it comes up. I have to remember that I have to run it as an administrator and then click it, so it will take me to there, and I will just try to go to this particular directory where this particular tool has been downloaded. And once I change the directory, I could see that this particular tool is existing in this particular directory using the dir command. Similarly, the core info.exe is also one command. We will just try to understand this particular core info with respect to is it only that if we run this particular command it gives us the information, hardware level information, or what kind of other information that also this actually collects and gives it to us. So let's go ahead and run this particular command. And as you know, this commands have switches. Like dir command have switches like /ad, it will list only directories. Like that, core info also has many switches. We will run it with a switch called -v. So if you run it with a switch called as -v and then press enter, we would see that this particular -v actually gives some of the capabilities. It lists some of the capabilities that is associated with that particular switch -v. So let's go ahead and try to run this particular thing with -v switch. However, there are many other switches as well that you should know. We'll just try to understand this from the perspective of -v, and there are other switches that you can always explore. So once we run it with -v, you can see that it is actually listing out that there is an Intel Core i5 processor, and our focus is towards hypervisor, which says that hypervisor is present. Then it says that supports Intel hardware assisted virtualization. Also it says EPT or extended page tables, which is nothing but the feature of SLAT, secondary level address translation, which has to be done to get access to the extended page tables or EPT. There's more of a little in depth of the microprocessor level kind of an understanding, but what we have tried to understand is just to check if this is there. So you can run it on your PC and you understand, you will get perhaps something different. If it says that there is no support, it may give, or it may say that it does not have the support of EPT, it may not have the support of VMX or hardware assisted virtualization is what we are trying. Or sometimes what happens is hypervisor, it may say that hypervisor is not present. So this is how we try to understand. And if you want to go ahead and understand, there are many other switches. Just type in core info /, just like you do for other commands, and you can see that there are so many switches that are available. -c, -f, -g, -l, -n, -s, -m, and -v. So we have used currently only or -v. So you can see that -c actually dumps the information on the cores. That is, cores is nothing but your CPU cores. That is the information that it gives you. So you can just go ahead and try this thing particularly on your machine to understand whether your machine actually supports virtualization and what kind of virtualization does it support. So this page also lists out enough information about these switches that we can see here. If you just scroll, it will give you a lot of information that it lists out massive amount of information about your entire processor.